Hey there, YouTube land. Big Dave here. I hope you're all having a fantastic Saturday now that St. Patrick's Day is over. I'm trying to catch up on some videos and viewer questions and stuff like that. And this is not a viewer question. This is just, we're going to look at one of these old Zebco Model 66. So it's either late 50s, early 60, I guess. I don't know, but the deal with this one is, if you get your hands on one of these and they work, it's a fantastic reel for casting light line. And if you never heard my story before, a lot of times when I go fishing, I fish where there's a lot of weeds. So if I use a reel that has a bail on it, somewhere along the line, the weeds are getting caught up. And it's always when you have a fish. You're trying to, kind of play the fish, get a fish in because you're all cramped up. And then you're turning and all of a sudden the weeds are wrapped around the spool or the bail of the reel. So when I go to a lot of those places, plus on the kayak, I just like to use a couple of these Zebcos. And if I'm going to use light line, really light line, like 4 pound or whatever, this old Model 66, there's something about it, I don't know what it is, something maybe about the casting disc or the way it's designed. All of a sudden, it just casts super far with light line. It works great. And it's a great small reel. It doesn't weigh all that much. And it just, I find them to be good. I have about, I don't know, 8 of them. But I only use like 3. But I have extra parts. I have everything. So here's one that I got. It's in really good condition. And I've had this a couple years now, but the drag is stuck. Okay, the drag is stuck. Now if I push the button to cast, the line comes out. So the first thing I need to do is on a lot of these old Zebco reels, it has the drag knob is on the side, so you want to turn it to the left so that it moves itself out. And then you're going to pick up this little retainer, and you have to put something underneath it. And I just use this nail file, which I was just using in the other video, and you just stick it underneath this, and it lifts it up so that you can get the back cap off. And I'm trying to do this while I'm showing the video, but it's not that easy to do. I might have to turn it around. All right, it's starting to come off. I might have to do something else with it because this has never been apart. So I'm gonna just see if I can get it to release. No, it's stuck. All right, I'm doing this live. This is live. This is as is happening, right? Okay, I'm gonna go to a larger screwdriver, but I'm gonna gentle. I'm not gonna damage the reel. I'm gonna pick this up. It's very tight, and it slips. Okay. For some reason, it doesn't want to let go. Well, this is unusual because I've had many of these apart. It's starting to go, but it keeps slipping out on me here. Or maybe it's not going to come out. All right, I'm going to gently, actually, I'm going to use the end of a spoon, which is thicker. See if I can get this. Ah, that did it. Sometimes you just got to get in there because it's very tight. It's never been apart. All right, we got it. There it is. See, but one thing I'll tell you is don't force these. Just like it didn't want to go, so I got a different thing. And I went up with this a couple times, but that's why I keep my hand out of the way, because if this slips, you'll end up with it in your hand. So I just keep it so if it slips, it goes that way. Always know where the screwdriver is going to end up. If you work on cars at all, you know what I'm talking about. Just like if you're holding the thing that you're working on and you're jamming the screwdriver in there, and once it slips, it's in your hand somewhere. So, always just leave your hand completely out of the way so that if it does slip, it only goes that way. And hopefully nobody's there, right? But you see, so here, this didn't do much, but I thought it would because a lot of times that's all I need is for this. And this didn't even want to work. But once I got the spoon under there with a little curve to it, it opened right up. All right, so there was the first thing. We got the cap off. Tricky one. Okay, let's look at the back. Now we know the drag is stuck. So this is the back of this. It's pretty well made. It has nice gears and stuff in it. This is old stuff. I think I mentioned before, it's probably late 50s. And you can see in the drag, they have some brass pieces. Now what works the drag is this spring mechanism, and it pushes on a rod that's inside. And we're going to have to look at that because the drag is what's not working here. This is all dried out. There's no grease. There's no anything. I'm going to use the Q-tip and just go a little bit around. I should just get a new Q-tip. But there's really nothing happening here. There's not much to take off. It's all kind of dried up. All right. Okay, so I'm going to use the same spoon and get the front off because I have to get to the rest of the drag. All right, that came off easy, the front one. And I'm just going to pull this out. I have a retainer on the string, so I'm not going to bother with it. All right, here we go. So here's the cap. It's kind of a fussy mechanism. See, it has this one pin, and this is just part of the design here. Okay, so I'm going to hold the handle, and I'm going to take this off. Just going to screw right off. There it goes. Sometimes you got to just give it a good push. I don't really think this reel has been apart. This line is all yellow, and it looks like it's pretty original. I can tell by in here, this pin looks like it's in the same place. But the back of this, there's the mechanism. And it's a fussy thing, has a lot of little parts. The main spring gets hooked on here. If these break, you kind of just have to have spare parts. You might be able to get something going again. This one is in really good condition though. This is, it's like a clock in some ways. It's got a lot of precision little parts that have to line up, right? Okay, so anyway, this all looks really good. And not much to do here. I'll put a drop of oil in here, and I'm going to put a drop of oil right behind that wheel. And just so that it has, and then right on the actuator. So I just put a drop of oil on the wheel and the actuator. And I'm just going to put it off to the side. It'll just soak in there. And it's very dry. Okay, now we have to get back to the drag. So in order to get to the drag in these old reels, you have to remove the spool. And that means you have to take this little piece and turn and move it sideways. And I'm sure it's quite stuck. So I'm going to try to do it gently without sticking something. I think I'm just going to use the end of this spoon again and see if I can get it to push. It's going, but it's very stiff. All right, so far, I'm only at an angle. I'm going to put a drop of oil on it. I just put a drop of oil on it, let it soak in, and I'm going to move it around a little bit with the Q-tip. All right, so like I said, this is we're live here. I've never had this reel apart. It's a collector piece, and we're just seeing for the first time what's going on, and I need to move that little piece over without breaking it. So that's why I put the oil on it. And I don't want to use anything that's too forceful. You know, it's already stuck. It doesn't want to go. And I've done a lot of these, so this is not my first reel like this. I've done a bunch of these, and they're all different. Sometimes I could just move it with my fingernail, but this one is tough. And I'm just moving a little of that oil under there with my finger, and I'm going to try again. I'm going to use the end of the needle nose pliers this time, which has a flat piece on it, but it gives me a handle, something to hold on to. And I'm going to push on it and see if I can get it to go gently. It's going. Okay, so there it is. It's out of the way. It's out of the way. And now I can take the spool off. I'm going to just lift it off. Just back and forth a little bit. It's very stuck. And that's because it's all dried out. Everything is dry. All right, and then you see it has the teeth behind it. And down in here, it's just, you know, everything is super, super dry. Now, the whole back will fall all out of this. So I got my finger in here while I'm doing this. I don't really want to put the cap back on because I need to see what's going on here. Now, this is part of how the drag works. It has this lever here. There's a brass lever on there. And that's what pushes as you tighten this screw down on. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it clockwise, which moves it away. And now I can put this down onto there, and it'll sit flush almost. And that's what's behind the spool. If this is all stuck, the drag's not going to work. So, just get one of these stiff paper towels and start cleaning in here. That's all you got to do. Just go in there with a paper towel, and you're going to see all this junk that's going to come up. This is the old residue. Okay, it was not a big deal, but it's coming off, especially around the wheel, the mount for the wheel, the mount for the spool. See how that line is old, and I bet it's good. I'll go use it, and I have other reels that came. They were actually original from like 1962, and they were in the box. The line is fine, you know. Okay, then you wipe the back of this, get anything off, and the inside. And see what's happening here is all this junk. That just got to get rid of it all. You might want to wear blue gloves. I do sometimes because this can be a real mess. And then rather than get all on your hands and everything, just wear some blue gloves. Now, see, this has a lot of residue and junk on it. Now the choice comes, do I want to put some oil in here, or do I want to use a little bit of grease? You know, it's hard to say. They might have even used graphite when they made these reels, because you see all this? This could be residue from graphite. They may not even have any oil or grease in here. I think for this particular reel, first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put a little bit of oil inside this mechanism. Actually, just to show you, it's on this side here. So I'm going to put a little bit of oil in there. And on this wheel. And I'll just take this Q-tip, which is now kind of dirty. Put it around on here. Spread the joy. There we go. Okay. I don't want a lot. You know what I'm saying? I don't want a lot. And now this tooth right here, this is where those teeth go. So I'm going to put a little oil on that and just rub it in with this Q-tip. Okay. All right, that's that. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little oil on the back of this spool. But I'm going to tell you if the spool is loose, because some of them are. This one happens to be very tight. If the spool is loose, then I'm going to maybe use grease. A little bit. Again, it's just a little bit. So a couple drops of oil on the back here. And I'm just going to spread it around with the Q-tip. Okay. I don't want too much. I just want a coating. And then inside here. I'm just going to run some in there. Maybe a little bit more. I'll put a drop in here. Put a drop inside the in there and give it the old go around. Okay. And that's what we're going to do with this. Okay, let's put it back together. The spool's going to go on. You have to make sure that this friction lever is in, because that's what controls the... Now this is really tight, so I don't know. I don't know if it's going to work. We'll just see. Okay, I got it on. It seems to be turning and catching on the underneath. That little lever that's in there, right? Spring, there's a spring. Now here, I have to close this. So I'm going to use the same method as before, and I want to control it. So I'm going to keep my hand against this while I gently push. All right, I'm going to gently push this up, and it's quite stuck. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this down and do it down here. And you're out of the camera for a second, and I'll show you because it's very stuck. And I really need to, okay. All right, it did go over. I was trying to do it. Normally, I would be doing most of this down on a surface. I use a big piece of cardboard, you know, as my catching surface. Now, this is turning now. And when I pull on the string, there we go. This is what it would not do before. It was jammed. It would not work. You can hear, there's your drag. Okay, it had no drag. It was totally frozen. Now you could yank and pull on that all you want. And if you do happen to catch a fish, it's just going to snap the line because there's no drag. And on Zebcos, you need to have the drag, like I've said on other videos. One of the main reasons people have broken Zebcos is because the drag is too tight. Zebcos are meant to use some drag on them. That's how they work. It's not like some other reels where you tighten up that drag and go as hard as you can and all that kind of stuff. It's just not that. It's not that kind of reel. You know, you will break the reel. It's as simple as that. Okay, so I'll just get this cap back on. And there's an indent. I'm going to line it up. Now the other side goes on first. So if you have one of these old reels, the other side goes on first, and then it goes to catch under this pin that's there. So let me just do it. It's going to be half on the camera and half off the camera. Okay, let me just clear something up. There's a notch here. And that goes into the open slot. There's a slot. And the other side has an indent. And then it catches underneath that spring pin that's on there, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what names they give to all these things. But it has a name. Okay. Get your line out of the way. And you put your cap, snap it back on. It's a little bit fussy to do these Like this one, it's a little bit fussy. You got to push down on it and then pop it in. There it goes. That's it. All right, so there, that one's on. And now if I pull it, I have that's free. Give it a couple turns. All right. And it's just gonna go free because I don't have the disc on yet. All right, I'll get to that. That'll come soon. Okay, I'm gonna put the back. Actually, I'm not. Let me just put a drop of oil in the gear where the bearing is, or the bushing, and on this, and then I'm going to put a little bit of grease on the teeth of the larger gear. I'm using this, so I'll put the grease on there. I don't want the disc on yet because I have to turn these wheels and make sure everything's working, and then I'll get to that. Okay, so I just buttered this up, and then as I turn it around, it will spread the grease. I'll put my finger on this, hold it down, give it some turning, and it's very nice. Then it sits inside this block. I'm going to put a drop of oil in both sides. I'm going to put a drop of oil here, and a drop of oil on the inside, and work it in. It feels like it's nice and, you know, working. Okay, now I need to put this back on, and it's going to be the same thing. I have to find the slot, which is going to be on this side. Put the slot in. Whoop. If you don't get that slot in, you can't put the other side on. Okay, and now I'm going to fasten this side. All right, and like I said, this has probably never been off because it's really tight. So I'm going to use the spoon to pull it up gently while I put it in, like a shoehorn. There it goes. Okay, that's it. All right, now that it's together, I'm going to take it back apart again in the front. Just pull the cap off. And I'll put the disc back on. It doesn't need anything. I put the oil in before. And give it a nice little turn. I don't want it, you know, just click it into place. Okay, now we can put the cap on permanently for now. And again, I'll find my open slot, match it up. And because I already put the other side on, this will be tight. So I'm going to just use the spoon again and gently feed it in. Cap is on, and that's it. Now if I can get it to work, there it goes. And we have the drag is working. 24 minutes later. If I wasn't talking to you and, you know, making a video, I could do this in 10 or 15 minutes, you know. But I wanted to kind of cover some of the details. So now I'll be able to wind this in, see what it feels like. When I get to the end, and I get to my keeper, it should just turn freely. There it goes, because the drag is working. All right, and I know if I turn this to the left, which makes the drag tighter, not yet, it didn't activate yet. Let's make it, it's starting now. It's starting to get tighter. And then I'll make it a little tighter yet. Oh, it's nice. It's working good. See? Nice and even. It's good. It's not going to snap my line. There it is. It's very good. So, there we go. Model 66. And one of the things about these is you have 3 settings. You have the one in the middle, which is where it'll free spool backwards. That's like your back. Then you have a clicker, which is, no, I'm sorry, the clicker is up. There it goes. This is the clicker. If you're bait fishing and you have a fish, it'll just pull it right out. And the bottom is lock position. Now the drag is working. Okay, so that's how the Model 66 works. So anyway, so there it is. One of my longer videos, but as I'm checking this out, you did it with me, right? Because you saw exactly what I saw. I've never worked on this reel. This was just something that I got a few years ago. It was sitting in this bag, and we got it working. Okay, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I really appreciate the little messages and viewer questions and all that stuff. So today, there'll be 3 videos, I guess, going up today. And off we go. Bye-bye.